party people, here for another episode of Legends of Tomorrow, episode 12. The party doesn't stop on this one. So when the episode starts, like it picks up from the last episode because remember they tried to they tried to use the Loom of Fate and it wasn't working, and Charlie was just like, because she can't do it by herself, but only gods are able to weave the loom. So they're trying to come up with ways to get around that whole thing. And then Constantine comes up with this chalice. He says that if you drink from this chalice, it'll make you a god for a day. So everybody was like, all right, if we get our hands on the chalice, we can use it. Two people can drink from it. They can become gods. Astra was like, I'm doing it because I don't trust you idiots to bring my mom back. And then they said that Sarah would be the other person to use it, because hell, she done everything else, so why not? Why not just make her a god at this point? But then they were just like, well, but it was one of those artifacts that was lost to time and nobody knows where it is. So then Nate looked at it and then he was just like, I've seen that before. He was like, it was at my old college. He was just like, it was something that all the different sororities and the fraternities, like, they battle over. So, and it just happens to exist in 2020. So in this episode of the Legends, they're actually not time traveling. They're in present time 2020. So they go to Nate's old college and, they're scoping the whole scene out. Now, Astra's not feeling the whole, the whole team dynamic. Astra's whole thing is, because Charlie said that, there's a certain way to go about this. When they met the guy who had the chalice, Charlie recognized him because she was just like, yo, he's a god. Like, he's actually a Greek god. He's the partying god. So it makes perfect sense why he would be at a college and then he would never leave. Because when Nate saw him, Nate was like, yo, that dude was here when I was in school. So, and again, like, you can't fight a god. You can't, you have to play by their rules because it's his chalice. Like, he's the party god, so it's his chalice. But Astra's whole thing is, Astra's just like, screw the rules, screw the legends, screw you idiots. She's like, I'm gonna do me. So Charlie's talking to her friend. She's just like, because they're both, well, Charlie's, yeah, Charlie is a god. So like, they're both gods. So they know each other, like, they're talking. And then she told him, she was just like, yo, I need a favor. And then he was like, anything for you. And then Astra just got mad, and when she was just like, enough of this foolishness. And then she just ran over and just tried to snatch the chalice. And it didn't work because the chalice is attached to the god. And it's like, it's like Thor's hammer. You just can't lift the chalice because it doesn't belong. So then he was like, okay, so now I see why you're really here. You guys are trying to sneak me you guys are trying to sneak me to get the chalice. He was just like, if you want the chalice, if you want its power, then you got to join a fraternity or a sorority or a sorority or whatever he said the third one was, which I guess is a fraternity and a sorority together. He was like, you got to join one of those. You got to participate in the competition, and you got to win the cup. So Charlie, Charlie was just so Charlie and everybody, they went back to the ship, and they were just like, all right, what do we got to do? And then, Sarah was just like, okay, somebody has to try to join a sorority. So they send so they send Nate, down to down to the school. Like, everybody went off in different directions to do different things. They sent Astra and Charlie, to join a sorority. So now the two of them are together. Like, Charlie's trying to bond with her or whatever, just telling her, like, listen, let's just do this the right way. And then, Astra's just like, yo, screw the rules. Like, I don't play by the rules. Because she's getting really, like, antsy with this whole thing. Like, she's really not feeling the whole dynamic of, like, working as a team. But she did this funny thing where Charlie was just like, look, we're trying to pledge into a sorority. She was like, just try to fit in. And then she put the white girl voice on it. She was like, excuse me, waiter. She was just like, if I wanted horrible tea, I'd pledge a different sorority. And I thought that was, like, the funniest thing, because Astra just switches from, like, mean, evil, like, hell beast to just, like, valley, like, white girl, like that. So I thought that was, like, really funny. And then, her and Charlie had gotten into an argument because Astra was basically, like, letting Charlie have it and telling her what she really thought of her. Charlie got mad, and, because she was just like, oh, you're just like your sisters. And then Charlie was like, well, at least, she was like, well, you were my sister's lapdog. And then the two of them got into a fight in front of everybody. And then before they even got a chance to join, they got kicked out of the sorority. There were 3 other girls who were at the table with them, and then the person who was in charge, because, like, the two of them got into the fight, she was just like, this whole entire table is disqualified, and none of you can join, the sorority. So, so they go back to the Wave Rider, tail tucked between their legs, and they're just like, all right, well, we got kicked out of the sorority, so it's like, what are we going to do now? And then, Zari was just like, well, if we can't join one, she's like, let's just start our own. So, they do what they got to do. They, I mean, Sarah was surprisingly okay with it because I thought Sarah was gonna be like, "Hell's no," but Sarah's whole thing is like, "Yo, I'm blind, so whatever you whatever y'all decide to do," she was like, "I'm just gonna run with it." So they end up, so Ava fills out all the paperwork for them to become an official sorority. They ended up like the three girls who were at the table with them that got disqualified from the other sorority. They ended up going to them and asking them to join the sorority. And of course, all three of them said yes because the three of them are like social like outcasts, so to speak. So they're all looking for a place to belong. So now they need a house. So they couldn't afford to buy a house. So then they so they came up with the idea of using John Constantine's house. Like they got this old house, they rented this old beat up house, and then they used like their image inducer or like their magic or time travel magic, whatever, to turn basically like it's basically John Constantine's house. They're using John Constantine's house as their sorority house, and Constantine. So all the girls are in the house. They tell him the plan. Obviously, they're just like, "Yeah, we're gonna start a sorority. We're gonna use your house as the sorority house, and we're gonna join the competition, and that's how we're gonna win the cup." And then Constantine was just like, "Yeah, I'm not doing this." Yeah, man. Constantine came downstairs. He gave them the keys. He put on his jacket. He was like, "Yo, I'm out." He's like, Constantine was like, "I ain't doing this shit. Like, I am not." He's like, "Nah." He's like, "Nah." So Constantine dipped, and he left the girls the house. So now the girls have the house. They started their sorority. They got the whole thing. They got the whole thing working. Astra's not feeling Astra's not feeling it, but she went along with it. And they filed all their paperwork, and everything, and they got the sorority done. The sorority's now in full effect. They end up applying, I guess, like, signing up to join the sorority, the sorority, the thing, the challenge, the Greek challenge thing, whatever the challenge is to get the cup. They they joined that. So now Nate, he ended up at at the Greek gods, at the fraternity house. That's what I was looking for. Nate ended up at the fraternity house, because those are like his bros, and like, he said back in the day he was Shotgun Nate. The Greek god, he was smart because he put a spell on Nate, like stuck it in his drink. He put a spell on Nate that made Nate basically like, tell him whatever he wanted. So he asked Nate, he was just like, "Yo, what do your friends really want the chalice for?" And then he was just like, "Oh, okay." He was like, they want it because they're trying to use the Loom of Fate. And then, the Greek guy, like, he freaked out because he said that the only reason why he's allowed to party and the reason why he's able to keep doing what he's doing and to keep the party going is because the Loom, was basically controlling people. And he said without the Loom, there's free will now. And now that we all have free will, the party doesn't stop. He was like, if that chick puts that shit back together, she's going to kill free will, and I can't have that. So just when their sorority was done, everything was good to go, he rolls up into their sorority and he tells her, he's just like, "Yo, y'all broads ain't joining the competition." He was like, "You're disqualified because I know what you're trying to do, and I'm not letting you put the Loom back together." So then Astra blows a gasket, and then now she's about to go, she goes across the street to the fraternity house, and she's about to light this bad boy on fire. Astra's just like, "I'm sick of playing by the rules. I'm sick of everybody telling me what to do. I want to blow this motherfucker." So then Charlie stops her, and then she said, she told her she was just like, because Astra was just like, you're trying to change me. Everybody's trying to change. She's like, "Yo, ain't nobody trying to change you. We're just trying." She's like, "Nobody's trying to change you. Like, we want you to be you. You can be who you are. We're just asking you to not murder people. Because every single time you come up with a plan, it involves like killing somebody." She was just like, "Be you without the killing." And then Astra told her, she was just like, "I don't know how to." She's like, I don't know the difference between what's right and what's wrong, because she's like, "I grew up in hell," and blah blah blah. Then she was just like, "Well," and I said Astra was going to join the team. Charlie flat out said, "We have a place for you here with the legends." Bam. So, so then, so they were just like, all right. So then Nate shows up, still under the spell, and then Nate's just like, "Yeah, the Greek dude, the only way he can keep his power is if all the people choose to follow him." He's like, "If nobody follows him anymore, then he loses his power and loses hold on the chalice." And then Nate's like, "I don't know why I felt the need to tell you that, but like, he's like, I just thought it's something that you should know." So then Charlie's just like, "Yo, so all we got to do is we have to," because everybody was at this dude's house, like having this big ass party. So they were just like, if we steal the party from him, he won't have any followers, and we'll get our hands on the Loom. So the girls went across the street. They dressed up the house, got all the booze and everything, the music and everything. They all got all dolled up. Astra looked good in that dress. I'm just gonna say that. And I noticed this because she's tall. Like like Astra's actually really tall, and I ain't got a problem with that. But I said she wore that very well. So now so like they're trying to, nobody showed up to the party. Like they're at the party, like nobody showed up, and because nobody showed up, you know everybody was just like, all right, well, because I think the Greek guy, his name is Dion. They're just like, well, Dion, he's like the god of partying. He's like the Greek god of partying. So they were just like, it was stupid for us to think we could out party him. But then Charlie was just like, yeah, she was just like, because they were like, we did everything right, we did what we were supposed to do, and we still can't break this dude's hold. And then Charlie was just like, well, yeah, we did everything we're supposed to do. So the question remains now is, what would Astra do? Because Astra is the devious one with the devious mind. So she was just like, yo, sabotage. She was like flat out sabotage. So, they ended up sabotaging his party. They got rid of all of his booze. They broke into his Pandora and and had him playing like horrible music. And then when the music was shitty, and then there was no, and it's like there was no beer, everybody was like, yo, this party's whack. And then Charlie and Asher was just like, yo, there's a party going on across the street. So everybody went across the street to their party. So now everybody's at the party. They're just like, hey, like everyone's here. Like all the party people are here. Why, they had Mick. Mick was Mick and his daughter, they were at the cup. Like where the cup was, they were there. Because once Dion's hold is broken, Mick will be able to take the cup. So Mick was on standby waiting for that moment, but he was just like, "Yo, I still can't lift the cup. Like something's wrong." And then everybody was just like, "Well, what's going on?" So then Dion and his boys showed up, and because his boys, Nate included, because his boys were still loyal to him, that's why he still had the hold. Because he said, "As long as I still have followers," he was like, "You may have taken the 100 people who were at this party, but these 6 guys are still loyal to me, and as long as these 6 people are still loyal to me." Nate included, he's like, yo, I'm always gonna have a hold on the cup. So then Sarah finally comes out of the woodwork, because I guess Sarah was like, look, I've been in the background letting y'all run this run this whole thing, but she's like, I'm the captain. So Sarah stepped in and she challenged the dude to a game of beer pong. She was like, me and you 1-on-1 beer pong. If I win, we get the chalice. And then he was like, well, if I win, you close this shit down and your sorority is officially over. So. And everybody was like, Sarah, why are you going to do this? Because you're blind. And then she was just like, yeah, but I got magic powers, because she can, she can see into the future. So right before the two of them played the beer pong, Sarah touched him. And I guess she saw the future of how the entire match was going to play out. And, she used that information accordingly. And she beat the dude in beer pong. And the Legends, the Legends house, the Legends house wins the cup, which was nice. So, while all that was going on, Mick's daughter had mentioned wanting to take a tour of that school because she was thinking about going there for college. Mick, so Mick accompanied her. They took the college tour, and they were around a bunch of snobs and basically like rich uppity people, and to the point where Mick kind of felt like he was letting his daughter down, because he was just like, I'm not good enough, as a parent to be around these people. And then his daughter at the same time, she was feeling some kind of way, because she was just like, yo, I don't belong here with these people. So Mick took the time machine, but the two of them didn't talk about that to each other. So Mick took the time machine, he went back in time, donated a shitload of money to the university, and then when he came back to 2020, he brought his daughter, and he was just like, look, the building, like the main building of the school had Mick's name on it. And then she was like, why she's like, why does it have your name on it? And he was like, I went back in time and donated a bunch of money. So now that he's listed as a financial backer, he was just like, now you can get into the school with no problem. And then she was just like, but I didn't, I didn't want to, she was like, first of all, I didn't want you to buy my way into the school. And then she was like, I don't even want to go to this school because these aren't my people. She was like, I just wanted you here with me for the weekend. And then, then he told her, he was just like, but because she was just, because he was like, I thought you didn't want me here because I'm a loser. And then she was like, no, she was like, I didn't want to be here because I feel like a loser. And he was like, but you're great. And she was like, well, you're great. And then the two of them bonded over that, and that's cool. Mick leaving the show. Mick's leaving the show, and Astra is taking his place. So in the end, so now, like, Dion lost. Everybody has the cup now, and the two people are supposed to drink from the cup to become gods. They end up the three girls that they recruited to join the sorority. the three of them said that after the Legends leave, they're going to keep the sorority going and make it a place for misfit kids who are trying to figure themselves out to join, and that'll be their thing. So that was nice. So then, like, so they're talking about, like, who gets to be the two people to drink from the cup, and then Astra was just like, not Astra, Ava was just like, yo, she was like, there's no reason that all of us can't do it, because if all of us become gods, they were just like, all of us can use the loom together, and this way it's not like the burden just isn't on like one person or like two or three people. So everybody except Zari drinks from the cup. I forget what Zari said. Like, Zari either didn't drink from it for religious purposes, or she just didn't want to drink from a cup that everybody else was drinking from. She said she gave a reason, but she said it so low I couldn't really hear her. So I'm gonna have to rewind that back and use the closed caption to find out what she said. But basically, everybody but Zari drank from the cup. They all started glowing. Dion took his cup back, and he was just like, "Yo," he's like, "You're in." He's like, "Just don't loom anything that'll ruin the party." So so now they're all gods, and they're gonna go back, and all of them collectively together are gonna try to weave the loom together. So I guess in the next episode, Bayrod and Astra's mom or coming mom, they're gonna come back to life, and they're gonna try to see if they can fix Sarah's eyesight. But I think if they do fix her eyesight, she won't have her powers anymore. So we might be in a situation where she's gonna have to choose between, like, the vision and the powers. And then finally, one of the young sorority girls, she was walking around the house because they were in Constantine's house, and all the demons. She was noticing, like, all the demon shit and the talking statues and everything, and everybody was just like, "Oh, you were drinking too much." And then Astra, took the girl outside, and then she put her in a cab and sent the girl home. And then because Astra came around after a while, even her and Charlie, like they kind of like warmed up to each other, and Astra's like slowly accepting the Legends because she understands now that the Legends are accepting who she is as a person, and they're not gonna try to change who she is as a person. So Astra's slowly coming around. So after she put the girl in the cab, Charlie's eldest sister, the one that raised Astra in hell, she rolled up on her, and then Astra flat out told her, she was like, "Yo, I don't need you anymore," because she didn't say the words, but she was basically like, "I don't need you anymore because I found a group of people who accept me." And the woman, like the sister, the eldest sister, she was just like, "Yo, first of all, with that whole Constantine situation," she was like, "I helped you try to kill Constantine. You still owe me for that." So she was, and I guess like when magic's concerned, there's like a magical bond where she literally has to honor that, like she has to pay that debt. It's not like she can just say no and walk away. Like she magically has to pay that debt. So she was just like, "You work for me now and you owe me a favor." So I guess she's going to tell Astra to either sabotage the loom weaving, or she's gonna have Astra steal the rings for her, or I don't know. Like I think what's gonna happen is they're gonna bring everybody back to life, like Bayrod and the mom. And then after they bring them back to life, Astra's going to betray everybody, steal the loom, and give it to the sisters. And then it's going to be a battle of the Legends trying to take down the sisters, because now the sisters have the loom, they're going to wreak havoc. But they're still going to need one more person. They're still going to need one more person on their team, because they need at least a team of 3 to weave it. And I don't know who the third person's going to be. So we'll it'll be very interesting to see who the third person's going to be. But that was it. Like I said, very cool episode of Legends. Nice to see them in 2020. I'm loving Charlie and Astra together. That brown skinned black girl magic is is on fire. And like I said, I hope Astra stays on the show. So we'll see what happens next week. I heard there are zombies. I heard there are zombies next week, so that'll be pretty interesting. And we'll see where it goes, because again, The Flash ended already. Arrow's gone. Black Lightning ended. Stargirl's about to start. Batwoman and Supergirl about to end. And like I said, Legends is up to episode 12, so I think Legends probably has maybe 4 more episodes to go. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think. What's going to happen with the loom? How's Astra going to betray everybody? Is Astra going to betray everybody? Who knows? How long does Mick stay on the show before? Does Mick stay till the end of the season, or does Mick and his daughter leave before then? So thank you for tuning in. Leave a comment, like, and or subscribe. Check me out on social media. And for Legends of Tomorrow, until next time, guys, keep the party going. And I'm out this bitch!